Okay, so now that I've calmed down a little bit, because, I had, a reason to be legitimately, distraught from what happened with the downtown urgent care center, Victoria Urgent Care Center, or whatever you want to call it. And then the letter that they sent me, stamped by Island Health, as you can see right there. Island Health, well, that was probably backwards. But the letter says, "Dear Corey, I am writing to address your behavior towards staff." Okay, so me holding you accountable to your legal contract as a supposed to be medical professional, okay, me holding you accountable to your own job and to your own duty is not behavior towards staff. And it's also not a threat, okay? I have every right as a citizen to hold the medical system and medical professionals to their own standards, okay? And to the law, and, you know, so on and so forth. Like, it's not wrong of me to challenge medical professionals if they are not being medically professional, if they are not offering the service that they claim to be offering, if they are not doing the job that they are contracted to do, and they are manipulating their position, taking advantage, and really just being lazy and not giving proper care to their clients. And that's exactly what the downtown urgent care primary care center did. And I noted that. I said to them, well, it's very hard to understand that I have just been called over the phone by your clinic and diagnosed with a chronic liver disease, fatty liver disease, okay, which can lead to fibrosis and cirrhosis and liver failure and death, okay? That can happen pretty quickly, and it can also take 10 years, but I'm not gonna sit there and wait for that, right? So bottom line is, if you were to educate yourself on fatty liver disease, there's a couple of things that need to be determined that medical professionals usually determine when they diagnose fatty liver disease. One, you have to find the cause. You not only diagnose it, but you have to find the cause, okay? Because there is a cause that causes fatty liver disease, and I'm not obese, I don't drink, and I haven't for years, I don't use drugs, and I don't do anything or consume anything that would give me a chronic liver disease at 31 years old. Do I look like I should have a chronic liver disease at 31 years old? No. So there is a cause. And it's not poor dieting and lack of exercise and obesity. And that only leaves a couple other possibilities. And they're pretty serious possibilities, like pre-diabetes, like having type 2 diabetes without being diagnosed can cause fatty liver disease. It can cause damage to the liver if undiagnosed. You don't need to be a doctor to understand this or be educated on these topics, but doctors will try and hold that power over you and act like you can't obtain any of this accurate medical information, other than from them, which most times they're wrong anyways. So getting back to the point, okay, I'm gonna read this letter out and I'm gonna explain what happened. So I'm on the phone, he tells me, the doctor calls me Dr. Wolf, says, apparently that's what the female on the phone told me that his name was, but she was hesitant to tell me his name because she didn't want him or anyone else from their office being legally held accountable for the lack of care and the lack of compassion towards their clients, and it's just improper protocol. It's just they're not operating correctly. Anyways, so he diagnoses me and then says, you have fatty liver disease and this can be fixed by proper dieting and exercise. Yeah, if you're assuming that the person that has been diagnosed is obese. I'm skinny. I'm losing weight, if anything. I have other health problems that are making me very sick and could be the source of the issue that's causing the liver damage. But because this doctor put in zero effort to, investigating what the cause is, or doing some follow-up blood work, or setting up a plan of action or future blood work to measure the progression of the fatty liver disease and see if it's progressing or if it's healing, right? These are necessary things and mandatory standard things for a medical professional at a clinic to be suggesting if they are claiming that they're a medical professional, a doctor, a nurse, or anything in between. If you got Island Health behind you and you're stamped with the Island Health, yeah, this is your duty. So anyways, this is their job. I tried to just ask him, okay, couple things I need to know, because I already saw the CT scan of the pelvis and the abdominal area that showed the diagnosis before the doctor even called me. Because I have access to my MyHealth account so I can see my results. And I'm seeing diagnosis, fatty infiltration of the liver. And then at the bottom, it said fatty liver disease. Then I looked up, it said diffuse fatty liver infiltration. Then at the bottom, it said fatty liver disease. So I already knew of my diagnosis 2 weeks before a doctor even tried to call me or contact me. So, and I'm pretty sure I had to contact them and they contacted me back. So, and I realize I'm not the only person in the world either, but here's the thing, right? So I say a couple things. I need to know what stage it's at, because there's 4 stages of fatty liver disease, right? And when I looked up the diffuse fatty infiltration of the liver, that indicates that more than 5 to 10% of the liver is fatty, which is at the point of inflammation, which is what causes the scarring, which is what causes fibrosis, which is what turns into cirrhosis, which is what turns into liver failure. So there's a possibility that I'm already in the NASH stage, which is the irreversible stage. There's there's a couple end stages that are irreversible. And I'm having symptoms, and usually when you're having symptoms, it's already at the point where the liver is extremely damaged. They found this by accident. They didn't take my blood work seriously. So the same clinic saw that I had high AST levels and ALT levels, liver function enzyme levels, right? High, really high. Well, depending on how you measure that, but they're high, and they didn't even want to investigate that. They're like, oh, it's nothing probably. And I'm like, trust me, I'm violently ill. I can feel myself dying, and I know I'm dying, and there's an underlying sickness in my body that hasn't been diagnosed because you guys are too lazy to investigate the blood work or even put in an effort to finding out what's going wrong with me. It's not that there's many complexities involved in why they may not be able to diagnose somebody for something that's hard to diagnose with. It's the fact that they're lazy, they're displaying themselves as lazy, and they're being rude and hostile in the same sentence, proving that they don't care about their patients or their clients. And it's very painful to go through that experience, to be diagnosed with a fatty liver disease, and then this person on the phone has no idea what he's talking about. So he had an ultrasound, and based on a CT scan and an ultrasound of that area, especially of the liver, you would be able to determine that, yeah, fatty liver disease. And because there's a CT scan and an ultrasound of the liver, you should be able to determine what stage that it's at and the extent of the damage and how much fat is in the liver. You can see that in an ultrasound, in a liver ultrasound. You can see that in a CT scan. He had 2 different kinds of scans. Those scans, I looked it up, they can be used to determine the stage of fatty liver disease. Yes, there's another test that actually takes a little piece of your liver that is inserted through a needle. I'm aware of that. You don't even need that. So he's like, he was just clueless. He's like, you got fatty liver disease, that's it. And I'm like, okay, what stage, what caused it? We need to find out what the cause is, you know what I mean? Because if I don't address the cause of what caused the fatty liver disease, it's going to continuously cause damage to my liver, cause fat to develop in my liver, which is going to turn into scarring, which is going to convert into cirrhosis and kill me. So that's how this disease works. Even I've noticed that a lot of doctors aren't even very well educated on this disease, and that's disturbing. But so here's the bad part. He didn't tell me what the cause is, didn't even try to, didn't say, hey, let's do some follow-up blood work, let's do some follow-up ultrasounds, let's do some follow-up CT scans to measure the extent of the damage. Let's find out what stage the damage is at of your fatty liver disease. That would have been the proper protocol for a doctor to take. You know what he said to me? You got fatty liver disease, exercise and better dieting will fix it. And then when I asked them, hey, what stage is it in? What is the cause? Can we get some follow-up blood work? Like, I need to pursue in this. This is my health. This is my life. This is a serious illness. It's a chronic liver disease. And he was like, I'm not sure. I don't know. And he was irritated. He was extremely irritated by the fact of me asking for information about my fatty liver disease that he just diagnosed me with. If you're not educated enough to even look at a CT scan and an ultrasound scan, which are the standards to find fatty liver disease and also diagnose what stage it's in, and you don't even know what you're looking at, you don't belong on the phone calling people to give them their diagnosis of a chronic liver disease, okay? Dr. Wolf at the Downtown Primary Urgent Care Center in Victoria, BC, you have no business calling anybody, giving them any diagnosis if you're not going to give them follow-up and security in any way. And if you're not going to put in any effort to find out what the cause is, okay. Bottom line is, and it was the attitude, you know, even if it's not his obligation to do so, right? And they just want to pass me off to the next guy. And they said, oh, we referred you to a specialist. He said, you've been referred to a specialist. I don't know what else you want from me. That's what he said to me. And then he said, I gotta go. So not even 5 minutes on the phone, this guy diagnosed me with a fatty liver disease and then told me, got irritated with me when I asked what stage it's in and can we follow up to find out what might be the possible cause. I'm 31 years old and I shouldn't be having this, and I'm not obese and I don't have diabetes. So there is an underlying cause and it needs to be found, or else it's going to keep damaging the liver, progressing into fibrosis and cirrhosis. We need to act immediately. And he had no concern at all. He didn't care at all. He was just like, I gotta go. And he hung up on me. So after that, I was numb, right? I just got told I got chronic liver disease that can kill you. And then when you look up, how long does it take for fatty liver disease to, become fibrosis, from the first stage, and it could take anywhere from 2 years, 2 years to reach fibrosis. Another possibly, it's hard to put a time frame on it, but possibly another 2 years to reach cirrhosis. And then from cirrhosis, you could have anywhere from less than a year to 2 years to live. Now, some people have lived with cirrhosis for 8 to 10 years and then died, but it kills you. It ends in liver disease. It's progressive. It ends in, liver failure. And if you don't address the cause, it's going to keep damaging and building fat around the liver until you're progressing it. It's still progressing rapidly into fibrosis and cirrhosis. So what you can do is you can stop it and you can reverse it. And how you stop it and reverse it is you find out what the cause is. And you need to find out if you're even in a stage that's reversible or not, for you to properly be able to fight a disease and a sickness like this. And a doctor should not be able to diagnose somebody without at least doing those standard mandatory things with a fatty liver disease diagnosis. So I hope this individual, if anything, he should be sued, Island Health should be sued, because another thing is the woman that I spoke to, so I called back after I thought about that and I said, no, that's not right. This is not right. I have to call back. And also saying I gotta go, and having the attitude that you did, the way you treated me, You know what I'm saying? With a chronic liver disease. Yeah, okay. These guys are, some people are lucky that they have the law to protect them to get away with fucking abusing people like that. I'll tell you that much. But here's the thing, that it's just pure malicious. That's just wrong, and the medical system should be held to a higher standard in Canada. We live in Canada, okay? I get it. There's a lot of pressure on the medical system and professionals right now. So what? This is like everybody, you know what I mean? Blame your government, blame your system for putting that pressure on you and firing all the medical people that were working that didn't want to get the vaccine. And, you fired like 3,000 people because they wouldn't get vaccinated, ruined their lives. And then you ruined the lives of other people because now we have a shortage in doctors and nurses and stuff. Like, it's the same system causing all the problems. Anyways, so here's what the letter says. So after that, right, I called back and I said, hey, I didn't like the way I was treated. This is what happened. I need follow-up. Oh, well, we referred you to a GI and blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, that could take years. You know what I mean? I don't have any confirmation or proof that you guys have referred me to a GI. I don't have anything in documentation or paper. And on my MyHealth, the ultrasound is not showing up, but all my other scans are showing up. But that one scan that they held from me being able to access for MyHealth, I can't get my hands on now. So they're withholding that, and now they're refusing me service. And on top of it, they are the ones that apparently referred me to a GI, which would then be able to get me into a situation where I can, further investigate what's causing the fatty liver disease and hopefully stop it and reverse it before it becomes irreversible. So I have a limited amount of time. And these people are burdening my ability and adding time onto that intentionally and not doing anything to help me, which is nothing of what the medical system claims to be, especially like Island Health and stuff. So they're in violation. They're doing things wrong, and they're not following protocol, and they're not doing their jobs, and they're confused on what their job role really is and how much that includes. And they're trying to find ways out of it because they're lazy and young. These people that are working at these places are young, lazy, and all they want to do is go party. Okay? You need to have some real, responsible people working at Island Health. And the good ones you guys always throw under the bus anyway. So here's the thing. Now there's a legal issue. There's even more of a legal issue now because now you've harassed me at this point. You've injusticed me. You've not served me as a client. You've treated me unfairly and poorly. You've given me a half-assed diagnosis and didn't give any follow-up blood work, which is something that's mandatory standard protocol in a diagnosis like fatty liver disease. I've spoken to other doctors. You guys can lie through your teeth all you want. You will be held accountable, and I will not stop. And I have contacted and made reports with Island Health on every level possible from every email possible that Island Health has. Because this one ain't going to, here's what I'm going to obtain out of this situation. Okay, so before I say that, let me go ahead and read this. I am writing to address your behavior as if who are you, in what authority, in what position do you have to send me a letter telling me you're addressing my behavior as an adult? You have no authority to do so. You are taking advantage of your power. It's abuse of power, and it's a Civil Rights Tribunal Act violation. So you're violating my civil rights and my human rights by doing this and withholding medical information from me and delaying and prolonging a medical process unnecessarily, unlawfully, which could cause harm to an individual based off of their diagnosis of fatty liver disease. So you're causing me to potentially die because I have a time frame window of what I need to do to find out what stage I'm in and what the cause is so I can address that, so I can stop the progression of the fatty liver disease before it progresses into fibrosis and cirrhosis and kills me. So you're burdening my ability to do that. That is a lawsuit and a criminal offense. So toward the staff on Vancouver Island Health Authority at the Downtown Victoria Urgent and Primary Care Center on Monday, January 9th, 2023, you called the demanding information. You called the demanding information? Do you mean to say that I called demanding information? So you have a misspelling or a grammar issue here. During this call, you were witness to be abusive to the staff using profane and threatening language. Okay, first of all, I never threatened and I never used any profound language except for one word, and that was at the end of the conversation before I hung up, well, which wasn't really a conversation. It was just her unlawfully defending defending the doctor that mistreated me, trying to talk to me as if I'm some child, like she can educate me on something. And she overstepped her boundaries of what her contract entails, okay? And she shouldn't be saying anything to me at all, period. Okay, she's nothing but a receptionist. And if she's anything more than that, then whatever, it just still doesn't give you any, you have no business doing what you're doing. This is an emotional response, that's what that is. And that's not professional, and it's not protocol based on Island Health's contracts with their employees. So during this call, you were witness to be abusive, abusive to the staff using profane, and threatening language. Your tone was intimidating and aggressive. Okay, well, anybody right now, me speaking to you the way I am right now, because I'm passionate and I'm upset and I have a reason to be. If you're going to interpret this right now as intimidating and aggressive, that would be an inaccurate description of a representation of me speaking right now, okay? If that's your interpretation of who I am as I speak, my personality and character is, that's your interpretation, but you can't make statements saying intimidating and aggressive, because that would be inaccurate and wrong, and that could be considered defamation or slander at that point, and a false criminal accusation, because threats in any way, shape, or form are a criminal offense. So you're now making false criminal accusations against me. There's another offense to add to the lawsuit. So you then ended this call uttering profanities and stating we do not care about the patients we serve. Well, I think a lot of people are going to agree with me on that one when they watch this video and hear what happened. But nobody ever gets to know the truth about the way people are treated in medical environments, because it's hidden, it's protected, and these people secure themselves with the law and all kinds of legalities, and they have Island Health, to defend them in a court case. So they can basically abuse you and get away with it and then win a court case against you unlawfully, illegally, and then laugh in your face on top of it. So that's a description of the system as a whole anyways, especially the medical system. So a couple problems here. The only thing that I said wrong, I was professional. I kept my tone. Everything was professional because I knew they told me they were recording. So I made sure I didn't get out of character, because then they could make me look like the bad guy, right? And even though that I kept my composure, they still tried to pull that one on me because they lost and they couldn't use anything against me. The one thing I did give to them was I hung up, and before I hung up, I said, fuck off, because she was basically raising her tone against me, trying to tell me that I'm wrong. The client, the patient that was just diagnosed with a chronic liver disease, that was diagnosed in 5 minutes on the phone and then told, I gotta go. So if you're going to use that recording, okay, first of all, you're going to get caught in a lie, because I just read the letter out and you got 3 things in here that is going to be obvious that you're a liar if you were to produce that audio for that phone conversation that you're saying that I was threatening nature. Now, I'm going to summons you, subpoena you, if anything, to provide and produce that phone call now, because you have made defamation, slander, and false criminal accusations, and it's also causing harm to a patient of yours, because it's based on you rejecting me services because of my attitude that you perceive that I have, because I held you accountable and I challenged you for mistreating one of your clients and giving an improper diagnosis without any follow-up. So yeah, I think you guys are in some trouble. I think if I really took this as far as I could, I think you guys would end up having to be held accountable for this. And you know what? If I can contact a lawyer and get him to watch this video and see this letter, and based off of, that phone call, then maybe we can get a court case going. And then you guys are going to have to produce that phone call and that audio, not only the conversation with Dr. Wolf, apparently that is his name, that she said to me that she was trying to defend him and hide him away from me asking questions about potential legal action based on the experience that I had. And that's not against the law, and that's not a threat, and that's not illegal. People are allowed to hold people accountable legally. You're allowed to go to an organization or any business of any sort and challenge them legally in any way. If anything, you can threaten them with a lawsuit or, legal action, because that is proper in normal protocol in between business, clients, customers, so on and so forth. Like, this is common knowledge, you know what I mean? But these, people that are working in these places are just young people that are corrupt, that have attitudes themselves, that are lying, changing people's files around, retracting people's referrals so that way they can't get their fatty liver disease taken care of. And that will be another thing that I'll be pressing charges about, is if you guys retracted your referral for the GI, it's taken me years to fight to this point. I had to fight this place to give me the right testing. And when they did blood work and saw that I had high levels of AST and ALT, which indicate damage to the liver and potentially a liver disease that they did not take seriously, later down the road, I came in to get request for some other health issues, that they did a CT scan on that abdomen area and pelvic area, which also covered the liver, and that's how they diagnosed me by accident. So, and I told them, I said, something's wrong with me, and these blood work, results might indicate exactly what I already thought. And they didn't want to investigate or do anything about it. So guess what? They were wrong, and they wanted me to take that dye to do the CT scan, and I felt already that there was something wrong with my liver, and I refused the dye. And guess what? They diagnosed me with fatty liver disease. And if I took that dye, it could have caused more damage and stress on my liver. Okay, it's a well-known fact. So you got to follow your gut. These people are liars, and they're causing more people to die than they are of helping people. And that's the same with General Hospital and Jubilee, especially Jubilee. And the experience that I've had becoming sick and having to seek out medical attention out here has showed me that there is no help medically for anybody, especially where I am in Victoria, BC. I've been calling walk-in clinics for months, every single day at 8 in the morning, changing my schedule around to call to sit on the phone for an hour just to be told, sorry, we're booked for the day, after I've been waiting on the line since it opened every day for months straight, every clinic in the city. No, there's no healthcare here. And the healthcare that you do get is from abusive, manipulative, power-tripping, narcissist liars that become emotional and send you letters to your address threatening you, saying that you're threatening them when you weren't. And now if you're going to make claims like that, you're going to have to back them up in court, and you're going to have to produce those phone calls, because I am countersuing, or I'm going to file a lawsuit against you guys, because this is serious, and if you retracted my GI referral and delayed my ability to take care of myself even further because of you didn't like the conversation that happened, because I held you accountable. I was not threatening in nature. I did not raise my voice. I did not use an inappropriate tone up until the last word. One single word. Actually, not one single word. Fuck off. 2 words. Okay? And you know what? I didn't say fuck you. I said fuck off. You know what I mean? And yeah, okay, inappropriate, I agree. But you know what? So is what I just went through. And is it that abnormal for somebody to respond emotionally to an experience like that from people that are supposed to be medical professionals? I don't think so. So I think people in the medical system and in this city need to start taking accountability instead of being little kids and little teenagers with little teenage attitudes and not doing what they're supposed to do, not doing their jobs, not doing the follow-up work, not putting in an effort into their profession. Go to a different field, okay? Because the medical field is crucial for the community and for the world as a whole and for mankind. And you don't belong there if you're causing damage and burdening people's ability to take care of themselves, and you're making false claims like that and acting, irrational, because I called and held you legally accountable. I was professional. I had a professional tone. I knew exactly what I was talking about. I knew what legal situations could arise from this. And of course, I have every right to mention any type of legal action that I want against any business or medical incorporation at all. So now you guys are going to have to produce both those phone calls, the one that I called you, and the one that I had with Dr. Wolf, so that we can all observe what's really happening and the fact that you just lied in this letter, which now can be used against you in court. And that's defamation and slander. And this has caused me a lot of mental stress that I don't need, that actually contributes to my disease, fatty liver disease. Look it up. Oh, wait, you're a doctor. You should already know that. I bet you don't, though, So here's the thing. That doctor didn't know what he was talking about at all. He didn't know how to read the ultrasound. He didn't even know there was a CT scan. I said, did you see the CT scan? He's like, and I'm like, yeah, you should look at the CT scan. Like, I need to know what stage the damage is at. Okay? It's crucial. It's critical to my survival. Like, are you kidding me? Right? Like, how do I know more about this than you? And you're supposed to be a doctor. There's a problem. There is a problem. And it's really actually causing people to become ill, people to die. And nobody knows about it because people go home and they die. And these people don't realize they're killing people, and they're just playing around too much, like, this is serious. People's health is serious. This is a serious problem. It can kill me. Okay. So yeah, a couple things that I want. So let me finish the letter, because they said that if I don't sign this, they're refusing me services. Okay. So, threatening language. This behavior towards staff is not appropriate and will not be tolerated. Okay, so me holding you legally accountable will not be tolerated. Well, that sounds like corruption to me, because you are a medical entity, and all I did was say, this is not right. You know what I mean? And I didn't like the way I was treated, and the doctor failed to do his job and really just had a lack of effort and an attitude, and it's just unprofessional. So me saying that to you all of a sudden now, this is behavior towards staff that is not appropriate and will not be tolerated. Saying fuck off, that probably is not appropriate, right? I've just had enough at that point. I don't even need your services anymore. You've diagnosed me with fatty liver disease and haven't given me any follow-up plan of action to take care of my health, to find out what stage the damage is in, which is a normal protocol for fatty liver disease. For the doctor that diagnoses it should then follow up blood work, follow up ultrasound, follow up CT scan, right? To follow up and see the progression of the fatty liver disease. Is it progressing? Is it not? Okay. And then we need to find out what the cause is, so that way it doesn't continue to progress. Those are just standard mandatory things. How could you give somebody a diagnosis like that and just say, I gotta go, and not give them any way to take care of themselves? You're saying, oh, we referred you to a GI specialist. So what? It doesn't mean that you don't have to create follow-up blood work. Okay, I get it. They cover those things like liver and all that stuff, but I'm still seeking medical attention from you. You're not going to pass me off and, oh, well, they'll deal with it. I don't want to deal with it. That's not the way this works. Okay, I get it. When you are referred to a GI, they handle things that you guys don't. They can help me more with this specific issue. I understand that. That's not the issue. You can, and you should, and you must still follow up blood work, follow up ultrasound, follow up CT scan, okay? Before I even get to the GI. You know what I mean? At least have some decency to be a human and explain it in a human way to somebody, instead of get frustrated when I ask you questions that I should be asking. What stage am I? The fatty liver disease, and what could be the cause, and can we investigate that? Because I'm not obese. Okay, and that's the main cause: alcohol and obesity and type 2 diabetes, and I'm not either of them. Okay, so there's a problem. That means there is an underlying health problem that is causing fatty liver disease. That is not the main problem, and it needs to be addressed, or my liver's going to die and I'm going to die. Okay, so you guys are standing in my way. So if the GI specialist referral was retracted now because I pissed her off and she sent me a letter and she didn't like what I had to say because I held her accountable and I held their office accountable and the doctor accountable for being unprofessional, rude, and just not following proper medical protocol. And now I'm displaying inappropriate behavior that will not be tolerated from them. So you can't get these people to follow the law or the medical rules and regulations, and you can't get them to put in an effort into their job. They like being lazy. They don't want to investigate things. They get upset when you ask them to help them. They get upset when you ask them to investigate certain health issues that you're having. They're just lazy. They don't want to deal with anything. Okay, and you can say, oh well, they're overcapacitated, whatever. Like, no, they're not, bro. Even when COVID was happening, I was in the hospital and there was nobody in there. At the same time that they're like, the hospitals are dying, we're overloaded, there was nobody in there. There was no ambulances. There was nobody sitting on any of the seats in Emerge or anywhere else. Okay, there's a lot going on that is corrupt around in the medical field. Okay, so I'm not going to get into that. Okay, but bottom line is, they're making me sign this, or else if I don't sign it, they're refusing me service. If you choose to continue to behave aggressively towards the staff, we will no longer provide you routine care at the downtown Victoria Urgent and Primary Care Center. Well, that's perfect, because you haven't provided me any care in the first place. I had to argue with you guys to take care of me. I had to, not argue, but I had to disregard you disregarding me and say, I think that you should probably do these blood work tests. I think you should investigate this situation. I think I need this testing. I think I need the, no, you don't need, listen, you guys have been wrong before and it's caused me health issues. So I'm going to, I have a right, to suggest what needs to be done about my health based off of even my information. I don't need to be a doctor, educated as a doctor, for me to determine what's best for my health. I know what I need to do. I know what the diagnosis is. I've read up on it. I know what I need to do next, okay? I'm surprised that you don't. That's the problem. So bottom line is, this is a serious problem. So what I need from them is, I need that ultrasound. I need my diagnosis on paper, because they're trying to make it so I can't access my own diagnosis and then go to another office and show them my diagnosis. They're trying to just harm me. They're trying to cause harm to me. I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to retract the referral, the GI referral, and that's wrong. You've already made the referral. So even if you didn't like my tone, even though you lied through your teeth, and I'm going to bring you to court for that, because you're lying, and then I'm going to summons through a lawyer that's going to request for that audio record, okay, for that audio that was recorded on the phone at that time, and the one with Dr. Wolf. I'm going to subpoena that. I'm going to request that through a lawyer for you guys to produce that, because you've already made a statement. You're going to have to stand on that, and then you're going to have to stand on producing that audio, because there are laws in place that will force you legally to produce those audios, okay, in a court case. So that's what's going to end up happening. I've already contacted Island Health and have gotten some emails back that I haven't responded to yet. But I'm not taking no for it. You're not going to do this to me. You're not going to cause me harm, wrongfully diagnose me and improperly diagnose me, and not give me any follow-up, be rude to me on the phone, and then say I gotta go and hang up in 5 minutes after you diagnose me with chronic liver disease. And then because I call you back and I professionally hold you accountable with no threatening, no aggression, just concern and passion for my health, okay? And a little bit of obviously emotional because of the way I was just treated and what I just got diagnosed with. Not wrong at all for me to be that way. And yeah, I said fuck off. That was the only thing I said wrong. That was the only thing I did wrong, and the only time I said anything out of character. And when they have to produce the audio, that's going to be apparent. It's going to look really bad when the lawyer reads this out and then plays both of the audios in court, right? And then if I find out that they have retracted my GI referral unlawfully, which is completely illegal, by the way, but I could see her doing that, click, click, click on a computer because she didn't like what I said, right? This is what these people are doing, in the medical system, in the income assistance system. They are playing with people's files and they are changing things, retracting referrals. They're doing things that are wrong after the fact, that after they've already been requested, to cause maliciousness and harm towards somebody. It's against the law. It's a violation of my civil rights, and it's a lawsuit for sure. Guaranteed. Any lawyer that investigates this is going to agree, and I get it. Island Health has the money to go to war. That's fine. Doesn't mean that the public isn't going to find out about this and, it's not going to get on the news. I make videos. I'm a public figure. I will pay money to advertise this to thousands of people. I am not getting bullied by this city anymore. I'm not getting fucking mistreated. I'm not getting punked. I'm not getting my file messed up. I'm not having you guys play with my reputation. Like, this whole city is malicious, right? And they're just cowards, just little hyenas trying to fucking, they don't like when a lion enters the room and everyone has to fucking, submit to that because it's the truth. The lion is the king of the jungle, man. And I foundate everything I do on the truth. And people don't like that because most people are not truthful. The truth is not beneficial to most people. So bottom line is, yeah, like I said, I'm not letting this go. And for those that are watching in Island Health and the downtown primary care center, these are my requests. I want my diagnosis on paper. I want on paper proof that the referral went out for a GI. I want more information on that. Who's the GI, where the referral went. I should have a right to that. And the ultrasound that you guys, for some reason, out of all of my stuff, didn't allow to be on my MyHealth for me to access, because that would be a piece of evidence against you even more. Okay, so and that's why you guys are hiding that, basically, because everything goes to your MyHealth. And as soon as the CT scan was done, like a day later, it was there. Like, you know what I mean? So it's been weeks, almost whatever, long past the time that the ultrasound should have been listed and displayed in my MyHealth. So those are the things that I'm requesting, and I want them immediately. So without delay, my time is limited, and I'm not signing this contract. You've already provided the service to me, so you can't retract a referral or a service that you've already delivered to me and already provided me to try to cause harm to my health condition, because that's exactly what it would do. It would delay me even further, and in the case of a fatty liver disease issue, it is a matter of time. There's a window of time, and it is a progressive disease. So gotta act fast. Like, I know it's not your life, so you don't give a fuck, you know what I mean? But yeah, like, people should take people's health more seriously. Like, if I saw somebody in distress health-wise, I would be concerned. If I hear somebody about their health issue, I'm concerned. I'm not even a doctor. I'm more concerned than the doctors and the nurses and the health professionals are, okay? Something's wrong with that. The medical system needs to change. I'm not the only one, okay? There's massive abuse. There's massive intentional things happening from medical professionals that are abusing their power, that are causing people to become sicker and even causing people to die unnecessarily, okay? And if you guys want, I'll make a whole documentary on that, and I will go find the families that have been affected by Island Health, including ex-employees, and I will create an entire campaign against you and build a website against Island Health. I'm going to add a tab to Victoria BC Profits with this video on it. How about that? Or maybe you guys can just do what you're supposed to do and comply, give me what is mine already, and leave me alone. You know what I mean? You already sent the referral out. If you retracted it, I am definitely going to, I'm going to move forward legally with legal action for that one. If you did that, if you guys did that at the Downtown Primary Care Urgent Care Center and you retracted now my referral that was made weeks before that conversation even happened, okay. Well, this is my health and this is my life, so I might as well use the last bit of it that I have left with the last, dying liver that I have, to fight this, and expose this type of thing. Because, if this can happen to me, then it can happen to somebody that gets diagnosed with cancer, So it's just like, that's what's really happening behind the scenes that nobody knows about. And I'm the first one to ever really make videos about this stuff and, exploit myself. It's embarrassing. But you know what? At the same time, it needs to be done and somebody's got to do it, man. So whatever. That's all for this video. So